cruise that way. Harbor cruise, yeah. It's a huge, isn't it, mahal ko? That's the prison one there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the prison thing.
All right. Let's see if we can find this wall.
Oh, we can, okay, we go find the wall.
Oh, we can walk this way because it's only just down there somewhere.
Yeah.
We can just continue on this way.
Okay, so that's a prison there.
Ah, yes, we can go on there because I see there's a plaque to read there.
It's a huge, thing.
This is the original garden. The unusual afternoon walk was to the governor's cottage garden where the officers' wives, their children and nursemaids used to assemble. They were charming gardens, lovely green lawns, gay flowers, beds, even a fountain in the centre of all beauty kept by E.M. Hall in the year 1871. The government gardens fence screened by the English trees such as oaks, ashes were laid at the condemned camp in 1846 as the place of the ladies of the settlements to take exercise and important virtue in Victorian era. The garden embroidered another fashion of the time, an enthusiastic for horticultural and plant collection. Let's move on and have a look at this garden that I was just talking about. Now, mind you, this garden was back as far as the 1800s.
Wow, 1800.
Yes.
They maintain it. It's beautiful.
And we shall probably see the fountain up here further
that's
up.
the fountain there. We can take a picture. Yeah, that's a fountain.
It looks like,
Prisoner garden.
yeah,
Isn't it?
well, you would call it looks like a prisoner's paradise if you're comparing it to countries around the world.
Exactly.
A prisoner will be looking forward to come here. But unfortunately in other countries, like in England, what they used to do is to get rid of small criminals that would steal, say, a loaf of bread to survive, and then they would try to get rid of those prisoners, clean up the area, and they said, let's send them to Tasmania.
Yes.
We don't want them in our country because they don't serve a purpose. So they sent them to Tasmania, and when they arrived here, they were held as prisoners and given jobs to do. And if they'd done their jobs well and they served their time, they were promised a piece of land they can have their own, so that this part of Australia was built by convicts. That is a beautiful fountain. I see people throw money in there.
Oh yes, they throw money. Yeah, yeah, they do. Yeah,
And make a wish. To them, it'll be like a wishing well.
yeah.
Let's move on. Let's have a look to see what this piece of building is up the top here. Such lovely greenery. Well sculptured. The hedges, yes. It would be a relaxing job to work here just to see the beauty of the garden. And they kept everything original to preserve it for future generations to see how it was established.
What year is
1800s, in early 1800s.
Wow, this is a very big land for the president. Back in the days now that's become a tourist spot.
Well, this is how they built Australia. Australia was built originally when it first started with convicts, and then they wanted to populate more, so they asked European people to come to this country and start to build it up. And I remember as my parents, back in the 60s and before that time, 1960s, that's when they started to build Warragamba Dam and to major roads, and slow progress, and slowly got there. Now let's have a look to see what this building... right, this is called the Government's Cottage. Near the church is a government's cottage, a very pretty little place. Everything about it is an excellent order, garden and ornament garden grounds, all kept all together, reflect much credit upon the person in charge. By H. Hunter, 15th of November 1872. And the church is to the left of us. If you can see there. You want to go and have a look at the church? Look at that sculpture there of a sandstone. And that looks like, to me, looks like they were prison guards. And that was the prison. I'm interested to see this church. And guess what? We can hear a church bell. Let's see. How can we go in there to see it? It'll be amazing if that church bell is still there. Look at a beautiful structure of the sandstone work. Now all this sandstone was all dug out of the ground from here on Tasmania.
It's a nice church. This is an old church.
Conservation team spotted a raising bed issues caused in part by poor infection in the past. We are all going to remove some part of the cement and water, repointed. We will also replace certain bricks as needed. This section of the church, which has the bells, is called trumpet. The spiral on top was made of wood and the paint to look like stonework. It was sprinkled with crushed and sandstone to enhance the illusion. And let's have a look at the church bells. Look at these wonderful church bells. Now, these are travelling church bells. The Port Arthur bells are the oldest chime bells in Australia and are believed to be the first cast in the country. Okay, let's move on.
Your mic is on.
No, I forgot.
Yeah. That's a beautiful hedging, mahal ko.
That is a very tall hedging. It's as tall as the building.
Yeah. It's beautiful. That's the office, prisoner office, the new modern.
Well, we can see what it'll tell us here now.
We have Mahalji as a big tour guide.
Oh, this is the police station. New police residence at the Port Arthur. This is a modern building, is nicely situated in Port Arthur. Main Street was recently erected for Tasmanian Peninsula Police Headquarters, which have been transformed there from the Peramandina relics of the ancient Freestone Hospital may be seen in the background.
Like a castle then.
Yeah, let's go and have a look at that castle.
Yeah, that's all. They preserve it, isn't it, Mahal?
Yes.
Historic. Yeah, like that one. It's 1800. It's still standing. They make it like a tourist.
I'd say that was the prison because you see they got the bars on the windows.
Stand them. Just say 1, 2, 3, yeah. And a big pictures. We do lots of walking now again. And exercise.
I don't mind the walking.
Me too. But we need to go do the time so that we're not going to miss our
Oh, we have.
other.
Oh, we still got 1 hour and a half.
Can you take all of this stuff with you? Just to see the view there. Please.
Oh shit. Okay. On through. 1, 2, 3.
You're my tour guide. The conductor.
We need to see this castle.
Yeah.
Yes. This is the guard's tower and the commander's home. We don't want to see the prison home.
Where is it?
Here.
Ah, yes, inside. We can take a photo inside. Yeah, when we come back. We see this one first and then go up there.
Law courts, here we go. The officers are of cut stone comprise the public office or court, the civil commandments, private office, 3 rooms for clerks, the post office and the officer's library. Let's have a look. What a beautiful view.
Yeah.
Look at the view.
See, that's the view for the prisoner long time ago. It's
Okay.
beautiful view.
Okay. This is like a courthouse. This is their office as well.
So good to see the history. This is holiday of me, of George, of Mahodji, and I will like it. We really love the history. But now, Mahodji is no more that I'm just looking. I love to look.
I want to see. This is the guard tower. This building here is the guard's tower. The design of that looking castle is medieval times. Let's go upstairs and have a look. Watch out. Oh, you trod in it.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Paapok ako ng food.
Oh,
It's a bird.
it could be a rabbit.
Rabbit. It's plenty on the dress.
Yeah, rabbits. They look like rabbits.
Yeah.
Let's go upstairs. Oh, more stairs.
Hingal.
I can see why this is the guard's tower, because he can see everything from up here.
Oh, call it garden tower. Yeah. Beautiful.
Magnificent view. This is where the guard would be with his gun, and
The
say
prisoner garden tower.
he would stand there. Halt! Where are you going? Stop, or I shall shoot.
What did you say?
He'll go, stop where you are. Where do you think you're going? If you don't stop, I will shoot.
It's a nice view, mga mahal.
Let's have a look inside. Okay, I want to go. Aha, this is the officers' quarters. Officers' tower quarters.
It's disconnected now. Ando na si Mahal G, hindi na ako sumunod mga mahal. We're gonna take a picture now. It's beautiful. What a wonderful experience. This is our third day adventure here in Tasmania, Australia. We love it. Mga mahal. Mahal G and I, we love history. Beautiful. That's the cruise we're gonna go at 12:20. They drop off lots of tourists there to explore. We already explore ourselves. Now we're waiting for a harbor cruise. Mga mahal. That's the harbor cruise. We're gonna go for I think like 20 minutes, Mahal G said. That's included in our entry to go to the Frison chair, the historic site of a Frison, just right there. So we're gonna go. It's beautiful, fresh. It's relaxing. It's a forest. Mahal, let's go. Ang huli-huli ni Mahal. Mag-harbor cruise na kami. Mahal, so you eating. Are we going to harbor cruise, mga mahal? That's the prison there. Mahal, we go upstairs.
We're not booked on until 12:20. Is that an issue?
That's all right. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
We go upstairs, Mahal. I'm not sure. Or outside, you go outside there. We take a video here. Here we go, mga mahal. Take you down there. Yeah? Sorry. More stairs.
I think I'm going to sit down here.
Okay. Here's the go. The good one here. You can see it. Here. It's beautiful while he is inside. Mahal, you wanna sit there?
Where do you want to sit?
Maybe up there.
Outside?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other men would be put to task making things from those raw materials, while I've always had an industrial side. Now the most plentiful and most valuable raw material here was timber. Various species of eucalypt, which were described as being 150 feet in the ground. This produced anything from broomsticks to boasting sticks. And this clearing here comes alongside on your left-hand side to the dockyard where they produced around 200 vessels put together. The majority of these were long-boats or whale boats. Whaling was a major industry in this early colony of Van Diemen's, so you can imagine craft like that being in big demand, and ships would travel from all over the world hunting these very fertile waters. A longboat is a very similar craft, but they were used to transport military personnel around the base units of this early colony when travel across country was often quite difficult, if not totally impossible. But they built larger ships as well. The largest ship built at Port Arthur was 286 tons. It was also the largest ship built in the colony at that time of time. The operation of the dockyard was totally independent of the rest of Port Arthur. They had their own rusty stock, so they could make their own individual parking. They had four ships that were steamers, and they had the Bible, so they can get the appropriate shape. Up the back of that complex was a big shed where they used to cut and sew the canvas sails, as well as build up the rigging. And of course, all of this was what provided a master shipwright. The first thing John Watson made a famous voyage using that white ship for building some of the other surviving Hindu and Hindu ocean. Now, there was never a problem with the quality of the quantity of those. The main problem was the ships were very durable, but they were also very cheap. And the whole sold on the open market. For what would be for a private type, almost cost a ton. And upset by that, I guess it's through the Western government department. The majority speakers come from London and the London district, and they were the archaeologists was very much the real thing. People are often told at the fact that they were transporting children as young as 9. But the sadder fact is that the age of responsibility in Britain at this time was age 7. Convicted, could be thrown into jail at that age, but the problem was it was the same jails for everybody, men, women and children. These places were grossly overcrowded, they were rife with corruption, and the thinking people of today figure that these young people were actually learning more about the ways of crime within the walls of the prison than they were on the outside. They called these places universities of crime. Lieutenant Governor Arthur was made aware of a similar circumstance with boys being transported to Van Diemen's Land and spending considerable time in the Hobart Barracks in contact with established criminals. So the idea of Point Pool was born, and ably assisted by his commandant, Captain Charles O'Hara Booth, they set about trying to change the system. The idea, of course, prime purpose, was to keep the boys well away from the corrupting influence of adult convicts, and particularly those at Port Arthur. They could be taught how to read and write, basic arithmetic, taught trades like carpentry, boot and shoe making, barrel making, bit of boat building in the early days, stone cutting, Now, most of the stonework in the Port Arthur Church and Military Guard Tower would have been carved by these boys, and we assume it's the rougher work that you will see on the inside of these buildings rather than the finer work on the facings. Of course, they received religious instruction as well. This was the Moral Reformation, and it was compulsory throughout the entire convict system. And once a boy was considered suitable, he could then be taken to a hiring depot, which was out at Newtown, and from there distributed throughout the colony as a useful worker. So they were trying to steer the boys onto a different path, and with their new trade, we're hoping they won't resort to their old trade again and will become an integrated member of the society of these new colonies. Some boys certainly grasped that opportunity, unfortunately others didn't. For them, it was hard labour, solitary confinement, deprivation of rations, and corporal punishment. Corporal punishment was part of Point Poor, but thankfully never to the degree that it was applied back at the main settlement of Port Arthur. As we go past this little beach, you can see a stone wall. That's where the saw pits were, and up through the bush you can see a few foundations and footings. This is all that remains of what was quite a large establishment. Most of the buildings had stone or brick foundations, but the upper parts were made out of timber. And when they abandoned this site in the 1840s, they actually dismantled the buildings and recycled the raw materials. Problems with Point Poor was about resources and the fact that it was such a cold, windswept place. All resources had to be taken over there, and this includes water even, all the materials for their trades, rations, etc. So this almost guaranteed contact between the boys and convicts who were performing that task, and the thriving black market would grow because of that, tobacco being the main currency of course. But it's a very important historic site, the first sanctioned juvenile prison under British control. Now, another important historic site, of course, is the small island. This is Isle of the Dead, or as convicts like to call it, Dead Island. They were certainly in possession of a less romantic view than the authorities of this place. We believe it's the last resting place of around 1,100 people. The majority of those, as you can imagine, are convicts, but to give them their proper status, convicts, term means convicted person, invalids, there's a person who can't work properly because of illness or injury, and paupers, who were men who had grown old within the system and simply had nowhere else to go, no other means of support. And finally, lunatics. The term lunatic means you're off with the moon. In other words, you're suffering severe mental illness. They're all buried along that southern end, and there's not a great deal of evidence of that because it was policy at Port Arthur that convict graves should be anonymous. The thinking being a life which has been lived in shame and disgrace would deserve no lasting memorial. That idea was only relaxed somewhat in the 1850s when a convict was permitted to have a headstone, but somebody of course had to pay for it. Very few convict headstones on Isle of the Dead. Now throughout the greater part of the harbour, looking out towards the mouth of the harbour, access to and from Port Arthur and places elsewhere. If we were to turn this vessel about and head due south, our next landfall would be the continent of Antarctica. And at this point there is nothing else between us and that very cold place, apart from the absolutely vast expanse which is the Southern Ocean. The cliffs at Point Poor, of course, are quite prominent as well, and boys would scramble down those cliffs and gather on the rocks out of view, and they would light fires, potatoes they'd stolen, catch fish, smoke tobacco. Former Colombier, the commissariat here, stood on top of the cliff and looked down. He said they scuttled away onto the crabs. If you look towards towards Isle of the Dead once more and put an imaginary line down the centre of that.
Enjoy.
The left-hand side is the southern the right-hand side of the island, the higher ground, is reserved for very free people. These were members of the military.
Hi mga mahal, dito ko natatapusin itong video namin for today, for our adventure for today. At naikot na namin ni Mahal G yung historic site ng Fort Arthur. Now, chilling na lang kami dito, mag-antay na lang kami ng yung bus pick up is mamaya pang 4:25. Naibot na namin. Time check is 1 o'clock pa lang. Si Mahal G naglalakad-lakad. Andito ako sa cafeteria nila. Yan, cafeteria. Doon. Tapos doon, souvenir. Kaya, busog naman kami ni Mahal G. Yung breakfast namin kanina, late. And, ngayon, may mga, baka maya-maya, mag-lunch kami. Kaya, I will end off this video for today. Sana na-enjoy nyo. And please like, share, and subscribe George and Seni YouTube channel. Until our next adventure. Tomorrow is our 4th day here in Tasmania, Australia. And then let's see what we're gonna explore tomorrow. Until our next video, mga mahal, please like, share, and subscribe George and Seni YouTube channel, Seni Buenaflor, Facebook, Instagram, Simply Seni, TikTok, Simply Seni. Thank you so much. God bless everyone. Always remember, be kind, do the good thing will come back to you. I'll see you for our next adventure tomorrow. Bye. God bless everyone. Love you all.